Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. We're going to be working on Alchemortis again. As usual, we're back at it. I've been playing way too much Arc Raiders, so I might be a little bit slow this morning, but it's alright. We're going to be working on some alchemy stuff. Last time we did the stream here, we were working on negative alchemy outputs. So I think just building out the alchemy reagent system some more, building out that negative alchemy output system some more, and seeing how that all feels. And I also have a number of feedback items to address. I don't know if we'll do that in that stream or in this stream, but we will figure it out. So before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting on Steam, and there's also a Patreon exclusive playtest running right now. So if you join at any of the paid tiers, you will get a Steam key emailed to you for the playtest. That playtest is going to run for a couple weeks, and it will also be available to the public for free starting on Friday, November 7th. So 6 days from now. If you don't want to support financially, you don't have to. You will be able to play the playtest without paying for anything. But there are a couple of nice perks to supporting financially. Obviously, the first one being that you'll get access to the playtest that's live right now. But also, if you subscribe at this highest tier, this is like pre-purchasing the game. I'll send you a full key or a key for the full game when the game launches, and you will get your name in the in-game credits. So something for you to consider. And I also have my Udemy courses available for sale. Those will teach you how to build games in the Godot engine. So hopefully you'll check those out. They're linked below. And of course, the Discord is also linked below. That's free to join, free to participate. So go ahead and do that if you're interested. All right, let's get right into it. Hello, A the Ant, welcome. RN Genesis, hello, hello. I Not Doggo, welcome. I'm sick. I'm sorry to hear that. Everyone's getting sick. I hope I can dodge it for at least another couple weeks. But I hope you feel better, A the Ant. Hello, Edo Makes Games, welcome. Always good to see you. It's wave function collapse time once again. Yes, indeed. Welcome, Emerson. Snupbill, thank you for the IDR 10,000. Always appreciated. Thank you. And with the message yummers, we always look forward to that. Welcome back, Snupbill. I'm migrating to Pop OS. Wish me luck. Well, good luck. Good luck. Yeah, good morning to you as well. Okay, let me bring up my Obsidian. And let me do this. Okay, so bring up the Obsidian here. So I think what we'll do is maybe just create a couple more reagents. I have some bugs to fix too. Triggering boss fight early via checkpoint does not trigger boss. Oh yeah, boss music. Okay, so I have some feedback items and bugs that I wrote down here. I've got a larger document with all of your feedback that you're leaving in the Discord as well. So I just need to think about that feedback and distill it into like actionable cards. But this is done. Okay, so negative alchemy outputs. Convert shield to self damage. Apply holy to enemy. What other reagents do we have? Let's see. Oh, right. I wanted to experiment with... Yeah, let me do this. I think the next biggest thing I can do for the alchemy system actually is I want to experiment with making it 3x3 always and having that death orchid only only increase the alchemy output or alchemy board size for one alchemy operation. So let's see what we could do about that. Alchemy container, run manager. Do we have the alchemy board size in here? Alchemy tier. Update alchemy tier. Find all references. Alchemy event state machine. Oh, this is not right. I need to remove that. I think I need to remove that. Alchemy tier changed. So that's probably in the alchemy container. Alchemy tier changed. Where the heck is that? Oh, it's in the drawer UI? What? Oh, I don't think this alchemy tier changed is used anywhere. Did I accidentally, or did I intentionally remove that? Alchemy container. So let's do this. Alchemy manager. Grow alchemy board, increase board size, emit signal board size change. Okay, so this is all coming from the alchemy manager. All right. So, okay, that makes sense. So I actually have some red herrings in here. We are going to cull those red herrings. We're going to get those red herrings, drive them to extinction. The alchemy container, so I need to do this. On alchemy tier change, that's gone. That's gone. This is all gone. This is gone. And then I need to remove the alchemy event state machine as well. Alchemy event state machine. We're just going to yeet that out of here. And let's build and see where I broke things. Good luck with the Pop OS, yeah. Hello, Chris. Welcome. Good morning to you. How you doing? I have room loading working. I just need to button up room transitions, then I can focus on combat. Awesome. Did you get the wave function collapse to work, or did you have to do something else? Event type.alchemy. This can... I have to leave that. Unused. Well, I wonder if I can actually remove that. Probably can. Maybe not. Well, let's remove it and see what happens. Hello, MKRD. Welcome. Good to see you. I had a dream today where I was watching Hollow Knight gameplay, but when I woke up, I realized that none of the gameplay is actually Hollow Knight, and I'm going to use some things from it for my game. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, when dreams are helpful like that, that can be fun. I really don't want to mocap an animated character just to test how it's going to feel, so I need to think of a way to test animation blocks. I'm assuming you've heard of like animation libraries like Mixamo that you can use. I don't know if you've heard of that, but there are some like animation libraries that you can get character animations. Long time no see. Yeah, welcome back. Always good to see you. Hello, Clickertail. I have no generation. That's for later, Chris. Oh yeah, I did leave it open-ended that the rooms can be played dynamically, but I'm explicitly controlling the generation result. Gotcha. What we do, we are doing alchemy stuff. We're doing alchemy stuff. Specifically, I'm experimenting with some more alchemy changes that I think are going to make the alchemy more fun. So one of the main elements of feedback from the playtest that's currently running is that it's still a little bit too easy to get like really strong alchemy results, especially like toward the mid game and end game. So we're trying to make the alchemy a little bit more strategic through reagents, but also I'm going to make some changes to how the alchemy works with negative outputs. So when you do an alchemy, there's going to be negative abilities put on the outputs, which will basically just be things that are debuffs or things that damage you or whatever. And then you're going to have the ability to control those by applying different reagents to the alchemy input. Hello, Mun. Wanted to tell you about a bug I found. When I did alchemy with gold and 2 big cards, the background moves to the left and there's a big, and there's black to the right of the screen. Yeah, I do need to address that. I think I have that written down. Maybe I don't. Bug. Let's do this. For boosters and alchemy, if the cards, the board, Disrupting. Oh my gosh, can I type? Disrupting UI flow. So that's just something that the way that the cards are placed on the board, that the output board of the alchemy is that the board just stretches to be the width of all the widths of the cards added together. So there's no kind of like packing algorithm. There's no like maximize the use of the space. I think the simplest thing to do would be to say, if the cards would create a board that's more than like 7 tiles wide, just start stacking them vertically or on the next row instead. But I just haven't done that, so it just balloons to be like this very long board. Your profile pic looks Vampire Survivors icon from afar. Does it? Oh, Chris's. Yeah. There's another one that was taking the baton from it after Adobe decided not to do anything with it. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I think we're good with those issues. So I should probably just commit this. Remove old alchemy code. Now this alchemy container here, what are we doing? Okay, let's do this. Private, static, read-only, vector2i, default. Board size is vector2.1 times 3. Let's go down here. This needs to be default board size. Okay, so now the board size here. Oh wait, you know what I should do here? Public, static, read-only, vector2i, default board size times 3. I can't do that? Okay. All right. So then here we're going to do, we're going to remove this. So this alchemy container here, this is a UI. So I don't really want to put any logic in here, any gameplay logic. So alchemy manager dot default board size. Alrighty. Let me see if I did that correctly. I missed the yummers, no. Like the vampire dude. Hello, Mio Leo Dev. Welcome, always good to see you. Did you guys, did you all see the new devlog for this game, for Alchemortis? Did you like it? With the wave function collapse and the Delaunay triangulation and stuff? I tried a different approach with the devlog this time. By focusing like more so on just one big feature rather than listing all the things that changed. So just doing some experimentation, seeing if you like that better or not. I liked it. Good. Good. Yeah, pretty interesting. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now what I want to do is, so since that, this alchemy grow board, where is that? So we got increased board size here. We're going to do public. Why is this public? Why is that public? That doesn't need to be public. Private, increase board size. Oh, I have this zoomed in too much. I was wondering why I felt so claustrophobic. There we go. There we go. Private void reset board size. Default board size. Emit signal board size. Change board size. Okay. So we need to call this reset board size here. When? Let's do this actually. We're going to call this reset state. We're going to make this public. Let's put this up here. Reset state. Cool. This set board dimensions here. We're going to clear board. Hold on a second. Alchemy Manager, where is that? Am I really not? Emit signal board size changed. Where is that being listened to? Board size changed. What in the heck? It's not even, I'm not even listening for that anywhere. Okay. I don't know why I have this signal then. Why do I have this signal? I don't know why all this useless stuff is here. That's all right. So what I'll do in here in this reset state is I'm going to do this .get alchemy manager .reset state. This is not going to work exactly the way that I want it to, but we're going to give it a shot. Project settings, game debug, reagent growth, skeleton warrior. Yeah. So let's give this a shot here. The way you explained everything that you used are algorithms. You like it? I picked up 3D animation recently, and I'm not sure if you would know this, but in Godot there's a skeleton IK node, and I was told that it was unworkably broken. I don't know how true that is. Found a workaround to do the thing I wanted to do without it, but yeah. Well, you have to be kind of careful with that. Because I think, you know, a lot of things in Godot are serviceable, like the features for basic use cases. I think that when people try to do more complex things, they'll say, oh, it's not supported, or it's like not usable. But I would always encourage you to try the skeleton IK node first, or try whatever node you're trying to use first. And if it works, then it works. But if it doesn't, then you may need to find a different approach. I wouldn't necessarily just avoid using a feature that Godot has just because people have said, oh, it's a bad feature. But, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Is there such a big difference between public and private? Yeah. I mean, it's mostly just about your code hygiene. So the public methods are public, like they're supposed to be the things that can be called by anything that has a reference to the class, right? So those are methods that are safe to call just on that instance whenever you want. And the private methods are mostly for things that are internal or only supposed to be used internally. Because you could imagine you have a private function that changes some internal state that needs to be called in very specific spots in your class. And if you called that from a third party that has a reference to that class, you called that method that's supposed to be private, it might create a bad state or it might create bad data, right? Because it's bypassing the flow that the logical flow that the class is expecting to execute. So yeah, there is a big difference. Public methods are like your public APIs. Those are the things that are safe to call whenever, from wherever. Whereas the private methods are supposed to be for internal use only. Thank you so much for your support. Finally released the game. Yes, I saw that. Thank you, Zabraz. Everyone said check out Zabraz's game. that was posted in the Firebelly Discord. Godot is more building block-like with their nodes, while Unreal is more like do everything, but do it their way. Can you make VR games in Godot? Yes, I believe you can. But once again, I think it's not super sophisticated, the VR support, but you can definitely do it. In our game feel vertical slice, how do you feel about juice being added? It's part of the feel, even if it's VFX. Yeah, I'm big on, I think game juice makes a huge difference in even like a vertical slice. I've never been a fan of like white boxing and like have your character just be a little pill capsule, you know? It's hard to get excited about the game. It's hard to see the vision of the game. And also the game is just not super fun if it's just white boxes, you know? Adding camera shake and particles and an actual character, even if the animations are a little bit janky, is just a lot more fun to play. And it's a lot easier to see like what the direction of the game or how the direction of the game is going. Yeah. Hello, Meep. Just sent my Steam page for review. Awesome. Congratulations. I agree. You should definitely read the docs then. Yeah. Thought it was about memory or optimization. That's why I was wondering. Oh, no. Yeah. It's just structural, basically. You're welcome. All right. Let's try this. So the goal here is if I do a Death Orchid, that should increase the board size by once, and it didn't do that. So yeah, I'm immediately resetting the state here. So let me think. So I've got this board increase size. I need to not reset the state. So here. I'm just going to do this. Private bool grew board. Let's do last operation grew board. If not last operation grew board, we're going to reset the board size. Why can I not type today? This is embarrassing. Oh. Last operation grew board equals false. It's also kind of hard to type because this guy is sitting on my arm while I'm trying to type. Right, buddy? Right? You got what you wanted. You got what you wanted. Are you happy? What's the... Okay, I'm going to put you back down. Okay, there you go. There you go. So last operation grew board equals false. So what I'll do in here is when I do this increase board size, I'm going to do last operation grew board equals true. That should fix that. So the idea is I should be able to use an orchid. So if I go to my death orchid here, I can plop that in there. That should increase the board size. Yeah, I think that's fine. What is the maximum number I could do? Well, I probably need to limit that size. You know what I might do? I might do this. Instead of growing it every time, we'll just do Alchemy Manager default board size .x. Well, let's just do this. Okay. If the vertical slice is for the demo and you want people to get excited about your game, then juice, I would say, is actually pretty essential, is it not? You wouldn't want people getting bored. I think Jonas Tyroller, I'm sure a lot of you have seen his work on YouTube. He has a video from a couple of years ago where he takes a game where you just click a button, but then he adds a ton of juice to it. And I think that's a really good demonstration about how you can even mask a very simple or unfinished game or a very non-complicated game with juice and effects and actually make it more fun. So I'd recommend checking out that video if you're interested. I think it does a really good job of showing how much juice can add to your game. What am I doing? I don't need to do all this. Okay. So that increases the board size to 4x4 temporarily. And then I can add a bunch of stuff in here. Cards will have 5 negative abilities. Let's go. That is not correct. It only added 3. Okay, so there's a bunch of changes that I want to make here to the alchemy system. Why did that only add 3? I don't understand that. Cat spotted. Do you think you will make a non-roguelike single-player RPG if this sells really well? The problem with RPGs, generally speaking, is that they involve a ton more skill sets. So you need to make a compelling story. You need to make sort of compelling progression that happens over many hours, right? You need to make a compelling world. And it's just a lot more difficult. And so like writing and world building are skills that I haven't really developed that much. So the reason why roguelikes are appealing is because it's kind of like a puzzle game in that, like puzzle games, you don't really need to have a story or a world. It's just, here's the puzzle mechanics and here's a bunch of puzzles that use those mechanics. And that's the game, right? That's how puzzle games work. Well, roguelikes are like a step up in complexity from that, where it's like, here are the mechanics of the game, and also I'm going to generate a bunch of random scenarios every time you play, but the mechanics stay the same, and it's just like, I'm just shaking up, what strategies you have to apply to beat the run. So it's still relatively low complexity, where once you've nailed down your main mechanics, it's just about, really honing those in and presenting interesting choices to the player and just creating that right amount of challenge every run. Any world building or story you add is just extra, but you can really just focus on those core mechanics. So it's easier to develop those. If there's fewer skills you need to develop, there's fewer skills you need to have. But, would I like to branch out into making other types of games? Sure, yeah, but I need to stick to what's realistically doable for the moment. And I don't know if, I don't know when making an RPG or something like that is going to be doable. I think I saw that on Twitter, yeah. Basically creating a whole grand IP and most of the constituents has to do well, yeah. How would you classify an RPG? Well, I would classify it as a role-playing game, right? You play as a character, and that character progresses through some kind of story and through some kind of world until you get to the end of the game, right? So there's a couple problems with this alchemy. It said it was going to add 5 negative abilities, and it didn't do that. I guess we should fix that, because this is working all right now. I want to see what happens if I add multiple reagent growth. I hope you guys like the new alchemy changes that I'm making. I may end up doing... I think I'm getting to the point where maybe playtests can be a little bit more frequent, because I'm making a bunch more changes in accordance with your feedback, trying to really dial in the game experience. So I may start doing playtests on a more regular basis as I add new stuff, but we'll see. So what this should do is this should set the board to 4x4, and then if I do it again, it should just set it to 4x4 again. Yeah. So using 2 orchids in a row. So let's do this. Alchemy. Why did I... Okay, I'm going to rename this. That'll work. Hello, Defected Gaming. Welcome. Good to see you. Okay, that'll work. Cool. I think that's going to feel much better. Now let's figure out why in the heck this alchemy is not working the way that it should be. Cards will have 4 negative abilities. Why is it only doing 3? I don't understand that. Oh, right. That's because this is wrong. I'm going to do this. Private list. Base composed ability, all possible negative abilities is equal to that. Well, we don't need to do that. Public override void ready. We're going to call this configure negative abilities. And then I'm going to do this. Private base composed ability, get random negative ability. Dot duplicate. Well, I think it's going to duplicate already in here. Yeah, we should probably duplicate it actually. Let's call this 4 card. How do I keep, I don't know why I keep doing that. Base card, okay. Oh, I need to loop. Oh my gosh, I wish I could type today. What's going on? J is less than negative ability count. I really don't know what's going on here. Okay. That should work. Haven't been watching your stream that much lately, but seeing the devlog and now in stream, the game is shaping up to be pretty great. It's so nice to see progress almost live. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think the game is shaping up for sure. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Saturday Dev, yes. Do you like bowling? I do like bowling. I do like bowling. It's pretty fun. I'm pretty decent at it. And by decent, I mean I can hit a couple strikes in a game usually. So, not to brag at all, but I might hit 2 or 3 strikes in a game, no biggie. There we go. Now I want to know what happens if I re-alchemize these things. So the thing is, I don't know what I'm going to do about this, but the negative abilities are abilities on the card, so those may also get alchemized. Together. So I may end up with more negative abilities on a card. So if you alchemize multiple things together, you may end up with just like mostly negatives. So if I do this, and I do this, that's going to add 2 negative abilities here. So I grab that one, and then I put these in here. Yeah, see, this one has more negative abilities now because those are abilities that are being chosen. So I could take this guy and then put those all in there. Yeah, I think that's fine though, because it's going to become really important to try to mitigate the negative abilities that are being added to alchemy outputs. Okay, I think that will work. Have you ever broken a pin? No, I haven't. I'm curious to know what your question about bowling is about. Why are you so interested in bowling, nobody? Okay. No reason, just popped in my mind. Okay. Oh, here. Okay, change alchemy board size to be 3x3 by default. I think that's done. So we're going to have to see how this feels, but I'm going to make one more change to the alchemy system. And then maybe we'll just give it a play test to see how that feels. I think this Death Orchid is going to be a lot nicer. So instead of relying on RNG to increase your alchemy board size by finding orchids, which you may not find until later in the game, I'm going to give the player a bigger base board, which is 3x3, which you can increase to a size of 4x4 for one execution. So the alchemy grow board reagent now becomes a tool that you can use rather than almost a necessity. Can I help you, Kat? Can I help you? You wanted attention. Here you go. Here you go. Okay, so we got those things. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. Legendary. Ooh. Okay. We'll have to give that a test, but first I want to change some things. So commit that. Now in this alchemy manager here, we're going to change this abilities to take. I don't think I need that anymore. All abilities to list. Abilities to take a minimum. Let's change this. Abilities to take a minimum. Let me think, actually. Abilities to take maximum is equal to... I actually don't know how I want this to work. So the way the current system works is that the number of abilities that exist on your output cards is equal to the number of abilities, the maximum number of abilities on a single card. So if you put a card in there that has 4 abilities, then the alchemy output will take anywhere between 2 to 4 abilities, I think. But I don't like that system. I think what I'm going to do is do abilities to take minimum is 2, abilities to take maximum is mathf.max, abilities to take minimum, all abilities dot count, maybe. And then here, mathutil.rng.rand irange, abilities to take minimum, abilities to take maximum. Okay. Spooktacular. Spooky season is over. It's now November 1st. Unfortunately. Yeah, so now I can get a skeleton that gets that kind of output. I can see how that would balloon very much, though. Let me try this again. I probably need to exclude the negative abilities from being used as part of that count. Let me see. Yeah, this might get a little bit weird. That may not be the right approach. I accidentally hit enter, meant to type out Spooktacular season is over. Oh, nice. But Alchemortis is going strong, yes, yeah. I wonder if I should make... I don't know what is a sensible way of choosing how many abilities to add to the alchemy output. Do I want to make it based on how many cards you add? Because if I have a card that's got like 8 abilities, and I alchemize it with a card that has 1 ability, do I want it to potentially have output a card with 9 abilities, or do I want to maybe have it output a card that has like 4 abilities? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think this is going to be sensible. Let's do this. Abilities to take minimum is equal to cards.count. So basically take 1 ability from each card at a minimum on average, but the maximum number of abilities to take minimum plus half of the card count. I don't know. I just want to see what that looks like. Also, I should probably not include No, that's probably fine, actually. Let's see what that does. So I should take 3 abilities at a minimum. That's going to be too strong too, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's see. What happens if I put 2 skeletons in here? Okay. Nope. Let's do this one. Okay. So that's what? 4 abilities minimum. Maybe the system I had was better, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because the thing I don't like about the old system I had is that the only way to increase the number of alchemized abilities that you could get on an output is by putting in a card that has more abilities on it. But I don't really like that. What if I did something like this? Well, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with this. Default amount of ability equals average tier of card and alchemy board. Create new reagents that buffs the amount of abilities alchemized. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing something like that, but I don't know if I want a reagent to do that. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break. I'm going to noodle on it while I'm on my break. But yeah, when I come back, we'll either figure something out for this or leave this alone for now and move on to something else. I'm thinking of a couple of different ways. Like I could average out the number of abilities that there are per card, and then add some randomness to that. I may try that and see what that feels like. So if I've got 3 cards and those 3 cards all have 2 abilities, then the average ability for the output should be 2. But then if I add some randomness to it where it can either go above or below that number, that may feel good. So I'll try that when I come back from the break, and if that doesn't feel good, we'll just revert it to the way that it was and we'll move on to something else. And or additional clickable by the cauldron, like a dagger with dripping blood or something. This opens a toggle to increase the amount of alchemized ability at blood cost. The idea of being able to add blood for better outcomes is an interesting idea for sure. So I'm gonna have to think about that, but we'll try what I just mentioned when I come back. But give me 3 minutes, I'll be right back and we will continue on. All right, I'm back. If implemented, perhaps increase the blood cost should be exponential rather than linear. The cauldron has to capitalize on this economy. Yeah, that would make more sense. Chemical reagents at times give diminishing returns the closer you get to 100% purity. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, let's do average ability count is equal to all abilities dot count. Now I should probably take the non-negative abilities. All non-negative abilities dot count divided by, we'll make this a float cards.count. Okay, we'll get rid of this. And down here, we're going to do this instead. We're going to do mathUtil.floor, no, mathF.floor to int. Util.rand, no, mathUtil.rng.rand fn. We'll do average ability count 0.5 or maybe 0.75. And then we'll do mathf.max 1 and that. All right, let's see what that does. So I'll take the average ability count as a float, give it some randomness through the Gaussian distribution, and then make sure that it can't go below 1. Okay, that gave me basically no positives and only negatives, but let's see if I can get one that has 2. I want to see one that has 2 damage on it. If I'm alchemizing 3, that's 1.5. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be working that well. So let me think about this. So this is average abilities of what? 1, I see. Maybe average ability count isn't the way to go then. Dang. Why is this so difficult? Yeah, I'm going to need to think of coming up with an algorithm. 2 times average tier. Standing just caught fire. It was just sitting there and I started smelling burning wood. Oh my goodness. Glad you caught it. Good thing you were there when it started burning. Sorry to hear that. What do I want to do for this? Maybe if I take... Honestly, maybe the way I had it was just fine. I don't really know how to improve it in the way that I want to improve it. I think what I do want to do though is I do want to keep this all non-negative abilities. Oh, let's do this. Yeah, let's just revert this. Abilities to take minimum. Yeah, I don't really like that either, but I'm gonna have to think about a different way. Think about a different way to do this. That's done. Anyway. This at least needs to change here. Get paste composed ability dot where x, not x dot is negative ability dot count. Let's see what that does. And then maybe we'll take a little detour here. We'll do something else. Maybe we'll add a new reagent or something like that. Yeah, I just don't like, I need to come up with a better way of doing this. Excuse me. Anyway, it's basically the same as it was, so. I will work on that a little bit later. But alchemy negatives. So let me do this. Let's create a new reagent here. So we have a reagent that removes negative abilities. That one's done. Add crit chance to all outputs. Guarantees lowest turn cooldown, makes alchemy free. Oh, that's a good one. Guarantees smallest card, guarantees highest tier output. Chance to add echo. Has a chance to double or nothing current currency, that's fun. Removes a random ability from the input pool. That one needs probably to be thought about some more. Preserves only damage abilities, preserves only heal abilities, preserves only poison abilities. Hello from Pop OS. I'm a Linux guy now. Welcome. Welcome from Pop OS. Yeah. I like the idea of using Linux personally, but every time I use it, there's just so many like micro things that are just annoying, which, you know, it sounds like that should be the case for Windows, but Windows, once I turn off all the widget garbage and the AI stuff, Windows largely stays out of my way, which is not my experience with Linux. Linux is like, every time I try to do something, there's like one minor problem that needs to be fixed, and it's like every time. My experience with Windows is like everything is basically plug and play. You download the app and it works. You download the game and it works. You plug in your mouse and it works, you know. I know that, you know, mice work with Linux too. I'm just being a little bit hyperbolic, but, you know, that's my experience anyway. Wild idea about maybe a simple timed minigame of, say, every time alchemizing, making the player manually tracing a rune pattern. The accuracy will influence the ability amount. Well, I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but as a player, I hate minigames. I hate them. I don't like them at all. The only minigame that I find tolerable or even enjoyable is like fishing minigames. Like the Stardew Valley fishing minigame is pretty cool, but for the most part, I just hate them. Yeah. I hope Windows keeps working then. Yeah, me too. I like the reload minigame in Gears of War. Yeah, that can be interesting too, for sure. Quick and simple. Okay, let's figure out a reagent. I kind of want to do... Well, maybe do a dragon scale and have it do something like damage. Or a shielding, I mean. Let's do this. Let's do a dragon scale that converts... do we want to make the dragon scale convert shielding to fire? How do I even do that? I had this enchantment. Let's see. Base enchant. Convert damage to shield. Modify ability magnitude. Oh, interesting. This is going to be a tough one, actually. Well, let's figure it out. This is going to be an interesting coding adventure, I think. Let's do a dragon scale that converts shield to fire. Hello, Dagon. Welcome. It's good to see you, Dagon's Taiku, I should say. It's going well. How are you doing? Game development happening on both my screens. Yes, indeed. That's the way to do it. Bit of a morbid one, but would be a 2-second minigame of slashing a voodoo or captured peasant as many times as you can with the mouse. It's certainly creative. All right, let's do a dragon scale. Card creation tool. Dragon scale. Maybe dragon scales. Create. Open up that A sprite. And let's go into open file. Assets, card. Dragon scales, boom. Load default palette. Nope. Load default palette. Alrighty. So let's do this. We can try something like that. I don't know if that's going to work, but... we'll try it out. Oh. I'm going to change this one a little bit. I'm surprised that so far Pop! OS even has a shop to download and install apps. What card is this? Dragon Scales. Hello, Pocket Pixie. The next Minecraft indie developer, yeah. Yes, I remember you. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna try a different approach to this, I think. Okay, maybe this will look a little bit nicer. I don't know. This might work better. Maybe. I think it looks better. I think that looks better compared to this one. Okay, that'll work. That will work. In the words of our famous green ogre, that'll do, donkey. Okay, So let's do dragon scales. $14 alchemical reagent. Cool. This is a 2x1. Excellent. What happens if with the previous approach, but outlined with reddish color to show that it's radiating something? At first I thought you were drawing plant seeds previously. I think this one is okay. I mean, for red, I don't really have a good ability to do stuff. Oh, adding a little bit of orange might work though. Let's see what that does. So if I take this and I just add in some orange here, it might look a little bit weird. I mean, I could change it to red too. What happens if I use red here instead? I kind of like, hold on a second. I think I just placed the red in the wrong spots. Let me see if let me just add some red over top of where I've placed some of the purple here. Maybe I would just even add it there. Maybe not. I mean, that's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's exactly what you were talking about, but I think adding some orange and red into it is kind of an interesting effect. Do we like that or no? That works too? It almost does give the impression of it having kind of like a sheen, or like what's the word? You know how like mother of pearl has that kind of sheen when you play with it in the light? It kind of almost looks like there's like red or orange undertones underneath the green scales. I kind of like that. Yeah, shimmer. Yeah, shimmer. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. We will see how that goes. Opalescent, yeah, opalescent is a good word as well. Okay, but that's the easy part. The art is the easy part. The hard part is getting this to work. So this has to be a non-combat ability. So I almost need like another loop in here. So how am I going to do this from a technical standpoint? So I need this to be an ability that gets added to the card. So that would be a non-combat ability, non-combat composed ability. I probably just have to make this like a convert shield to fire. Let's do this. Let's create new file, iAbility modifier. iAbility modifier, namespace, game.data.ability. Public interface, iAbility modifier. Modify ability magnitude. I don't think this needs to return. Let me see. Executing ability equals modify ability magnitude. Okay, yeah. So I probably want to do that. So convert shield to fire. This is not what I want. I don't want that to be in here. Get rid of that UID. Oh, okay. So what I want in here, I'm just trying to think of how this is going to work with my system. I think I need to create a new ability in here. How is this going to work? Convert shield to fire. So this is going to be namespace game.data.ability. How did I implement the enchant? Yeah, let's... Convert damage to shield. I just return a new shield. Okay, so let's do this. This needs to extend base card ability, so I'm just going to put this here. Convert shield to fire. This is a base card ability that extends iAbility modifier. Execute, we're just going to return an empty result. Get explanations, we don't care about that necessarily. Actually, I think I do care about that. Return ability explanations dot fire, ability explanations dot shield. Let's override this. Implement interface, I mean. Okay, modify ability magnitude. I keep losing... Okay, so I can basically just copy this. So we're going to return ability magnitude here. If ability magnitude is shield, return new fire, shield.get magnitude. So we've got that. Now what would this look like in the dragon scale? I think what I would do is if I go to my dragon scales here, we would do abilities is equal to new convert damage or convert shield to fire. There is no tier scaling. Converts all preserve applied to fire. Okay. So now in my base card, I need a way of pulling those out. I'm going to need to change this to do rework this to use the new I ability modifier. Okay. Get all combat executable composed abilities. Var modifier abilities is equal to abilities dot of type I ability modifier dot to list. So we've got our modifier abilities there. For each var modifier in modifier abilities, we'll put this in here. Oh, I need to do this again. Oh, magnitude ability. Okay, so we're going to apply the enchantments that modify the ability first, and then we're going to apply the modifier here. Is that going to work? I think that might work. Word of the day, yeah. Shield plus, fire res plus. Is this combat? Yeah. There's no such thing as resistances in this game. Your resistance is basically your shielding, which will just absorb damage. So let's see if we can get this to work. Let's try some. What is an item that applies shielding? Do I have any items in the player's repertoire that just apply raw shielding? I don't think so. But oh, I do have one. I have a giant finger. Giant finger, and then let's also do dragon scales. Let's just see if that works. This is going to be a little bit weird, but let's see how this goes. So if I do this, converts all preserve applied to fire. Oh, that needs to be added. Right, that needs to be specifically handled. Shoot. So I need an alchemy ability. I need to rework this system to some extent. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do that. I can do this. I already have this. So in my dragon scales, I actually need to do this. New alchemy added ability composed. I think that's it. I already have a system for that. I already thought ahead. All right, let's see if this works. So now this should guarantee that as an output. Yeah. Perfect. Apply 4 preserve. Oh, I got a legendary one. So this should have a 10 turn cooldown. Apply 4 preserve, double preserve applied if health is less than 50%. Converts all preserve applied to fire. So now let's find a combat here. So I should be applying 4 fire if I did everything correctly. It appears I did not do everything correctly. Okay, let's do this then. Let's put a breakpoint here, attach to process. Okay, now we continue on. It's not executing its ability at all. Let's try it again. I have no modifier abilities. It's hard to know which one is actually being executed. Okay, so it is the finger being executed. It's detecting no modifier abilities. Why is that not happening? So convert shield to fire is in here. Modifier abilities of type I ability modifier. Oh, that's okay. Right, because it's just... Composed abilities I... Wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay, this would be a lot easier. I actually don't know if this is going to work. Project settings, training dummy, generate test map. This will be easier to test if I just do a training dummy and have it have no abilities. And I don't know why my training dummy doesn't work anymore. Yeah, it just crashes every time. I don't know. So that's pretty much useless. Condition fatal, GC handle is released. I don't even know how to begin fixing that. I don't even know how to begin fixing that. Okay, this is going to be difficult. Maybe I don't need this here. Maybe that's the problem. Let's see if that works. What happened? It's just crashing when I try to do the training dummy. Null reference error. Cool. Yeah, I don't know why this is happening. I need the training dummy to be able to test this, but it's not working. File name is equal to training dummy.tres. Okay, so it is loading that. It's initializing it. Then it tries to load the training dummy. Tries to duplicate it. But for some reason that doesn't work. Object reference not set to an instance of object. Okay, something weird is happening here. Let me do this. I don't think this is going to fix it, but private static, read only. Instead of loading it every time, let's do training dummy resource. Let's try that. Probably not going to work. Oh, it did work. Okay. I don't know what was happening, but there we go. Fixed it. So now what I can do is I need to do the alchemy. Now we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming. Converts all shield applied to fire. Okay. So before I start the combat, I need to attach this again. We can go back to... let's remove this. Well, probably don't want to do that while it's running. Yes, we want the modifier abilities here. So we're going to attach the process, Godot. Okay, and then we'll just run this. All right, modifier abilities. So we should have 0 on the first one because this composed abilities were on the first one, shield health scale. So the second one is the one we're interested in. Modifier abilities is 0. Oh wait, no, that's poison. What the heck? Shield health scale, okay, keep going. Why is it not recognizing? Huh? I don't know what's going on here. Oh, right. Oh, right. This is only... Oh, I know what's going on. Oh, shoot. Okay. I know what's going on. The problem is I'm doing this on a per composed ability basis, but in here I'm checking if the ability that's currently being executed is a magnitude ability. But the problem is that this modifier here, this exists in a different composed ability. So I actually need to... do this. Modifier abilities equals new list. Let me think. I need to do that. Var modifier abilities is equal to flatten composed abilities of type to list. There. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's going to work now. So now if I do this, put this here, now we can go to the training dummy. And this should apply fire now, hopefully. There we go, it's applying fire instead of shield. Now this is going to be a little bit awkward because if you stack this multiple times... Oh, stacking it multiple times should actually work. Let me try that. It should apply 8 fire instead. So let's do dragon scales again. I think it's just going to apply that effect every single time, if I'm not mistaken. So if I do this, and it ends up with... This should do 8 now. I think that's just going to work. No, it didn't. Oh, right, because it converts at one time. Okay. Yeah, so that's essentially a unique ability. The reason why it's not converting multiple times is because this shield executes, it applies the modifier from this ability, which turns it into fire, and then the fire is the ability that get executed, so then when this modifier runs, it detects that that's not shield anymore. So that is essentially actually a unique ability, which is actually probably preferable. It doesn't make sense that if you have convert shield to fire twice, that it would do twice the damage. Where is everybody? I don't know. We got a lot of viewers right now, but I guess people are just working. People are enjoying their Saturday mornings, Saturday evenings. A lot of people throw up the stream in the background just to have some background noise to work to or to chill to, which is totally fine. Okay, so the dragon scales are now in the game. Perfect. I'm here. I'm working on my game, doing big refactoring. I'm here just working on updating my game. Yeah. Trying to figure out how to publish games to Steam. It is very complicated. Steam is not user-friendly at all, the Steam backend at least, where you as a developer have to go and update your game or upload your game and configure all your depots and stuff. It's like, the first time I set up a game on Steam, I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, it is not clear what you have to do at all. And the Steam documentation is pretty good, but it's just the whole system they have set up is kind of confusing. So luckily I've published multiple games on Steam so far, so whenever I set up a new game, I can just go to what I had previously configured and basically copy it. Good morning, Rosebud Games. I'm working as well, yeah. Winning at Stronghold Crusader while having this in the background, yeah. I'm actually working on 3 games at once. Backend is a maze of documentation and new tabs opening everywhere. It is. It really is a maze. I feel like they could simplify it. Like, I feel like it's way, way too difficult for what you actually need to do. But anyway, that is it for the stream today. I'm really excited about this new alchemy system and where it's going with the negative outputs and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But again, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam if you're interested. Also, the Alchemortis playtest, the second playtest, is live right now for Patreon members. So if you want to get access to the current build of Alchemortis and try it out and leave your feedback, subscribe to one of these tiers. You will get a Steam key emailed to you, which you can redeem to play the playtest. And additionally, the sponsor tier here, you'll get a key for the full game when the game launches, if you subscribe to this tier for at least 1 month. So not only do you get playtest access as I do playtests during development, but you're also basically pre-purchasing the game. So definitely consider that if you're interested. You can also join the Discord. The link for that is in the description below. And yeah, I hope to see you there. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'll be back at it Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Play the Alchemortis playtest, leave your feedback. Oh, and I should also mention that the playtest will be available to the general public, to everyone, starting on November 7th. So you don't have to financially support to play the playtest. It's just you can play it right now if you do support. But I'm going to make the playtest public on the 7th. So join the Discord to be notified when that goes live if you're interested. Have a good weekend, everyone, and I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.